Does Trisha really want peace for her co-parenting relationship? Or she does enjoy seeing Marquez or Marquise squirm? Let's talk about it. This is Ebony Ivory, the Fly Aunt, and let's get into my Love and Marriage Huntsville recap, episode 7. So the episode starts with Trisha and Mel still at the coffee shop. Basically, Mel lets her know that she finds that it's funny that her friends brought up at a dinner table with people she didn't know about the Martel situation. She's saying it feels like, one, maybe they could have been trying to get under her skin, Mel's skin, to gain a reaction, or they could have been trying to have a moment. But either way, Melody says, I wouldn't have wanted my friends to out me in that way in front of people I didn't know, especially at a dinner. So Trisha just kind of acknowledges but doesn't really say much. Trisha then invites Mel to her kids' congratulations going away party that she's hosting with Ken. Melody just asks like who all gonna be there. I'm not interested in any kind of drama or anything like that, but for the kids, I will show up. They actually hug and they walk away. During Trisha's confessional, she says, well, Melody said she didn't care about Martell. They've been divorced for 5 years, but why was she questioning me like that if she didn't care? My thing is, Trish, you felt a little bit inferior because you didn't want to answer those questions. That's it. That's all. And guys, let me know what you think about Trisha and Mel's interaction. Do you agree with Trisha? Do you think Mel still cares, or do you think it's just good TV? Because in all honesty, Melody cooked in that scene. Period. All right. So the next scene we have is the Fletchers. Chris is opening a new brokerage office in North Huntsville, and Nell is there, and they're just walking through it. It looks like it used to be a old barbershop, which was a staple in the community, and it has to be completely gutted. So Martell pulls up, and Nell is just like gushing over Martell about how he look and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, this is the same man that called you a damn side chick, but you got giving him the king treatment. But okay. So Martell comes in, Chris is asking him how he's doing and stuff like that, letting him know that he also has been to see Marsau at a property that Marsau is working on. Martell is like, why you bring him up? And that's all it took for Martell to start going in. He says Marsau went too far, talking about the mothers of his children, all 5 of them. He said it was inappropriate of Marsau. He said Marsau is not a calculated person, but a foolish person in his, confessional. And Nell is trying to chime in and say basically it was wrong for him to bring Tisha into it. And Martell says Tisha inserted herself. She got into an argument that was between 2 men and she decided to insert herself. He also said no apologies will be given and that they are one basically, and it's up from here on out. Chris interjects and let him know, well, Marsau is on the same page. He said he no longer respects you and the friendship is done. Martell then says he feels like Tisha is a contributing factor to why Mel divorced him. Yes, that's what he said. He says Tisha throwing it in his face, throwing it in Mel's face, the stuff that he has done may have, contributed to the fact of why Mel decided to divorce him. And I was like, damn, boy, you don't hold any weight or accountability for the stuff that you do. Now it's Tisha's fault. Before, Mel had planned to divorce you all this time, but now it's Tisha's fault. Okay. So Martell also admits that he texted Melody and let her know what was said at the field day event. And again, he's admitting that he's breaking a no contact order because you're not supposed to be contacting Mel unless it's about the kids. That's what a no contact order and the stipulations are based around. He has admitted that he violated the order. Then he also mentioned the stuff that they were saying about Melody. He said, first of all, if Melody was there, Tisha wouldn't have even said anything, basically. And I'm like, look at that. I'm sorry, Martell misses his marriage when they would have everybody's back, and it used to be, the Holtz versus everybody. And it's 5 years later, and see, he's still thinking about things that he's missing in regards to his ex-wife. So the next scene we have is Ken is meeting up with one of his fine ass friends. Ooh, tell Auntie he could DM me if he's single. And he's a looker, honey. Yes, he's a looker. So he's talking about Marquise. How Marquise leads with his emotion. How he thinks Marquise may have some mental stuff going on. Because he basically is watching Ken do all of these things with his children that he couldn't do, like taking them out the country, taking them on trips. He's doing things for Trisha that Marquise didn't do in the marriage, and Marquise is just still struggling with the separation. Now, do I feel sorry for Marquise or Marquez, however you pronounce his name? No, I do not. You leave your family, these are the consequences of it. However, I am starting to take issue as the episodes go on in how they seem to get enjoyment from Marquise's pain and what he did. And it also seems like they enjoy rubbing the salt in the wound in regards to that. But we'll talk about that a little later. And guys, take the opportunity. If you like the content, please like and subscribe and turn your notification bells on so you are notified when I drop a recap. Okay? So then they discuss, what's the next steps. His friend asks basically, when the divorce happens. He was like, well, if they sign the divorce papers, I'm going to buy a ring. And his friend was just kind of looking at him in shock. And I'm telling y'all right now, Trisha was with Marquise since high school. I don't know, speaking for me personally, if I was married or with somebody for almost 25 years and I'm in a relationship, am I necessarily rushing to get married again? That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Trisha is going to be trying to get married as soon as this divorce is finalized? Drop down in the comments and let me know. And my thing is, I think Trisha likes where she's at with her and Ken. He's a provider. He helps take care of things. He helps make things easier on her. And I think she likes where she's at with it. And I don't think Trisha necessarily may want to get out of one marriage and get into another. I think their situation suits her just fine. So Ken brings up that they're having something at the house for the kids. And he says sometimes Marquise energy can be a little awkward. And I agree, based on, we'll talk about that later. Can be a little awkward, and Ken's friend says, well, maybe you need to have a discussion with Trisha how y'all handle things. And somehow, some way got brought up that maybe they're going to decide if it involves the kids that Marquise not be included or invited. I'm like, oh, because y'all to the parents now. I'm like, damn, this guy is doing a lot. Give me your thoughts on this. Should they exclude Marquise just because his energy is awkward? Let me know. So now we're going to the next scene. Destiny is at Trisha's house, which I think is kind of odd, but whatever. Destiny comes in, and then soon after, not even 30 seconds to a minute in, notary knocks on the door. Trisha is using a mobile notary service to get her divorce paper signed. She's very happy and enthused about it. And Destiny is just like, oh, this is a big deal. Am I a part of a pivotal moment? And basically telling Trisha, oh, you're going to grieve. You're going to feel sad about what everything is. And Trisha's like, nah, I've been there, kind of done that. It's been 4 years. She was like, I'm telling you. And I'm like, Destiny, stop projecting your feelings onto that woman. If she says she's not going to feel it, she's not. Her experience is different than yours. We still don't know why LaBerrick divorced you. Tell us LaBerrick's story. Tell us why you are divorced. That's what we really want to know. All right. So they start to discuss the party that she's having for the kids. and that she's inviting Marquise, and Destiny asks, well, how's the co-parenting going and stuff like that? And is Ken gonna be there? Both of them be there. And she's like, yeah, Ken is really at peace with everything. And I'm kind of upset about that. And I'm like, why would you be upset that your new partner is wanting to be peaceful and just, kind of be peaceful with it? Why are you upset? And that's why I say she's the agent of chaos. And that's why I say she enjoys rubbing salt in the wound. So now, next scene, we're at Black, Trisha and Marsau. Trisha says she's going to get ready to go. She has stuff to do for the kids. And Marsau was like, well, Melody texts and she says she pulling up. Tisha's like, do you know why? He's like, nah, she just said she pulling up. So they say basically whenever Melody says she gonna pull up, it's something she gotta get off her chest, which definitely does speak to Melody's pattern of history. Melody comes in, she embraces both of them, and they go to the table. Mel starts out by saying, look, we said if any issues come up or rumors come up or anything, we would address one another first. We wouldn't take it with it and run. So I'm coming to you right now. She divulges that Martell sent her a text and said Trisha and Marsau had some very degrading comments about her and so on and so forth. They're like, wow. And if you notice, Marsau kind of taps Trisha and tell her, like, basically telling her to hush, like he got it kind of thing. And they were like, no, we didn't talk about you, da 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 da. And then Trisha reminds him that yes, she came up in the conversation. Marsau said yes, because I brought up the fact that Martel was being weird, asking me if me and you had anything going on or if we slept together. And I'm telling y'all, I think this is the real reason why Trisha don't like Mel. Let me know your comments and let me know your thoughts in the comment sections. Why do you guys really think Trisha doesn't like Mel? I want to know. So again, there's a no contact order and he's not supposed to be reaching out to her in regards to anything if it doesn't have anything to do with the kids. So there's another admission that he's still contacting her outside of the no contact order. And then Marsau, which is so calculated, he asks, well, what did you say? And she was like, I didn't respond because it's not about the kids. I know that's right, Mel. Clock that goddamn T. Clock that goddamn T. Okay? So, and this is what grinds my gears about Trisha and the Scotts, basically. Because when Martell was going around and bad mouthing Mel and telling them all this stuff that Mel was supposedly doing, they believed it. They didn't have no problem. But now the shoe is on the other foot. And they are walking in Mel's shoes in her experience. Now Martell is a liar. Now Martell is a gaslighter. So because it's happened to you, now we are believers now. We are believers. So now we're back at Trisha and Ken's house. And it's the day of the graduation party. So she talks to Ken again and lets him know that she got the papers notarized for the divorce. And she's asking Ken, should she tell Marquez that she got the paper signed? Now, this is an event for your children. You already mentioned he leads with his, y'all mentioned that he leads with the emotions. You already mentioned, stuff about him. Why are you looking to make him upset or feel some type of way? And that's what I mean. Does she really want peace in this co-parenting relationship? But Ken tells her no, that's not something you should do. So the next thing we have is he then, him and Trisha have a little bit of word, and she's like, you finna piss me off, and then he kind of exited, and Melody says, these two, you could tell they were high school sweethearts because they know how to get under each other's skin before another one says a word, but this is a lot, and she said, I'm finna go eat my food and mind my business. So now Trisha and Ken, and the kids, they basically are out there making a little speech thanking everybody for coming. And Ken is leading a speech and Ken says, yeah, we the parents or something to that effect. Thank you. And I'm like, oh, jab, dig. And Marquez walks up and goes next to them and say, I'm the baby father. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy looks so ridiculous. Like, he definitely needs some support. For sure. For sure, for sure, for sure, he needs some support. The episode comes to an end. Next week episode is going to get a little bit better. I think we're going to see how two-faced Tisha is and Kimmy is, and we're going to get into it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Turn on your notifications so that you are notified the next time I drop a recap. And until the next recap, Auntie loves you. Bye bye. She kind of laughed and giggled about, should she tell him or not. And I'm telling y'all, she enjoys watching him in pain. Now, again, when I say this does not mean that I feel sorry for him, Marquise, because he left his family and, everything has a cause and effect. But I'm just talking about on the side of it, you being happy because you now have the power, so to speak, to inflict the pain. So, we're outside at the graduation party. The event is really, really well done. It's really, really nicely decorated. The food is like inside, a meshed area. And then they have a tent outside for people to sit. And they even have like a little bar section. So it's really nice, really nicely decorated. So you see Kimmy and that guy, her husband, and the Fletchers are there. Destiny and Lance show up. Child, okay. And Marquise walks in. So Marquise walking in waving to everybody like he's a politician. And it is awkward. His energy is very awkward. And I feel like he just doesn't know how to be in this situation. He grew up with his family, so to speak. They were together close to 25 years. And this is all different. And his energy is not aggressive at all, but it definitely is awkward. And he comes in like it's all good. He's like, hi, I'm Marquise. I'm the father of these beautiful babies. It's just really awkward walking up to people's table like, oh, do I know you? I don't think I know you. I'm Marquise. Da 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 da. Just very awkward. Then he goes to the little bar and asks all the men to come take a shot with him and says, let's cheers to being the bigger party, the bigger person. Shout out to our wives, jab. Shout out to our babies. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And in Ken's confessional, he's like, I don't wake up every morning and think about Marquise at all. And I'm saying to myself, stop lying, sir, because you just filmed the whole scene about Marquise. Marquise is definitely on your mind, okay? So please stop the BS. Then after the shot, Marquez sees Fletcher, Maurice, and Lance talking. He walks up on them and immediately says, I'm triggered right now, guys. He got the house, he got the woman, he got the kids, he got everything. I'm triggered right now. And they all looking at him, especially Fletcher, like, what is happening? And he's like, basically, he needs some advice right now. I guess so he don't crash out. And I said, this is why I say, Trisha know what she doing. But Marquez got to know to not take the bait. And I can understand that he's being triggered and she's enjoying it, but he needs to learn to not take the bait. Fletcher's taken aback because he's like, damn, this is a deep question out the gate. I didn't come here for all of that. And frankly, Fletcher says, he was kind of annoyed in his confessional by it. He's like, I don't know him. And this is my first time meeting him. And he's coming off the bat with such a deep question. And this is supposed to be a happy event. But, Fletcher says, well, when you're a mentor, in the community, stuff like this happens. So, hey, I get it. He said Marquise needs Jesus and he needs therapy. Those are the first two things. Maurice giving a Martin Luther King speech telling him to keep the kids, first in that mind. This is an event about the kids. Don't make it personal, which I totally agree. And it is good advice. So then we have Mel pulling up. Mel meets Trisha, hugs it out, gives her some cards for the kids. And, Kimmy, she sees Kimmy, greets Kimmy. And so Trisha takes Mel to the food area so she can get some food. And Trisha lets her know that, she got her divorce papers signed yesterday and she's feeling good about it. And should she tell Marquise? And Mel is like, no, why would you do that here? This is an event about your kids. Don't do that. So as they're talking, Marquise comes in and he's like, "Hey Mel, I only met you once at your brunch, your mimosas with Melody, and you know, we got something in common, like, how to co-parent with your ex. I know she knows your ex too." And I'm like, "See there? Okay, Marquise, you gotta stop the BS." So Melody is looking like, what the hell did I just walk into? And he's like, well, tell me can you help me, give me some advice on maybe on how you co-parent with somebody that triggers you? And she's like, you can tell Trisha's getting visibly upset because you can feel the mood shift based on what Melody is saying. And she's like, basically, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.